we're throwing people under the bus all 2025. But what does it really take to go to the next level?
Sacrifice, cutting some things off, giving in and of yourself.
Let me tell you, the spirit of offense is directly correlated to the spirit of poverty. Show me someone who is always offended and I can show you someone who's always broke. Business owners lack accountability and constantly want to blame the customer and the client instead of humbling themselves and saying, how can I excel the customer journey, the customer experience in my business?
Customer be talking and you be like, I'm about to pull them together. I'm about to gather their life. No.
If you humble yourself, you will be exalted. If you exalt yourself, you will be humbled.
Wow.
And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than being humbled by life circumstances, by being humbled by God Almighty himself. When God humbles you, who can exalt you?
We look at all these successful people and we envy where they are, but we don't know the backstory. We don't know how many bankruptcies they did before they got to a place called there. And then once they got to a place called there, since you're talking about leveling up, they evolve, they pivot, they move with the cheese.
In order to fully reach the potential inside of you, you must first connect with the resources outside of you. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Two Chefs Talking. We are your hosts, Chef Brittany.
And I'm Chef Mama.
And I just want to go ahead and let you know that it's Chef Mama's fault why you haven't seen us in a couple of weeks. Yep, we're throwing people under the bus all 2025. All 2025. We're snitching all 2025. We're letting people know the truth all 2025. So explain yourself to the people, Chef Mama.
I just feel like she's blaming the elderly. I'm an easy target. Like the tortoise.
Oh.
I can't get away too quick, so she's blaming the elderly.
But if you are new to the channel, we'd like to say welcome. We are co-owners of A Pinch of Bliss, serving up luxury catering, flavor boosters, and sweet consumables. But on this channel, you get podcasts like Two Chef Talking, you get cooking tutorials, and behind the scenes of us catering in live action.
Fun.
So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, or you know another food enthusiast or cook that would enjoy what we're doing, go ahead, you first subscribe, and then share this out with somebody because we're trying to grow the channel.
And plus, you love us. Go ahead and click that button.
This is facts. Also, thank you to all of you who have been watching. We have been growing. We have been growing exponentially. The views have been wonderful. And we just thank y'all for rocking with us.
Absolutely. The likes and the comments and the sharing has helped. And we appreciate it. We don't take it lightly.
Okay, so today on the agenda for discussion is we want to talk about going to the next level, because that has really been our focus, our desire. That has been the strategy for A Pinch of Bliss, especially for 2025. It seems like we always are talking about growing, going to the next level, but this year kind of feels different.
Well, we should always be talking about it. Any business should always be talking about it. We should always be forecasting for 3 or 4, maybe 10 years ahead. So that's a fact. And if we're not talking about it and trying to be about it and checking off an action plan, we're going to be stagnant and we'll find ourselves way back in the stale yard.
That's right.
And everybody else is going that way and we'll just still be sitting here. But we are, because if anybody goes to any of our platforms, A Pinch of Bliss Inc. on YouTube, A Pinch of Bliss TV, IG is A Pinch of Bliss Inc. Facebook is A Pinch of Bliss Catering.
Yep.
TikTok is A Pinch of Bliss Inc., isn't it? But at any rate,
maybe just A Pinch of Bliss.
If you go to any of the platforms, we're moving and shaking.
Yes.
And if you dare to scroll back months or years, because we've been doing this thing 15 years, you'll see the evolution.
Yeah.
So this conversation today is very befitting
Yeah.
for where we're going and where we're not going back to.
Period. I think that when it comes to growth, when it comes to going to the next level, right? Because I mean, the next level or level up, it's a trendy saying that we've heard a lot of people say. It's been a phrase that has been popularized, right? But what does it really take to go to the next level?
Sacrifice.
Well,
cutting some things off.
Well,
giving in and of yourself.
Well,
everybody can't go, and you got to realize it. Having the mindset of the rockets that the spacemen go up on, they have a booster, and then once they get to where the height that they need, the momentum, it sheds off and fall off that piece. You got to have that mindset.
Yes.
If you don't, you're going to be in the dust. So leveling up encompasses all of those things. Discipline is at the top. And then scared money don't make money. And like you said, it's plowing time, not harvest.
Yes.
It's time to work and till the field. So that's what we're doing.
Shout out to Dr. Darius Daniels, because one of his goated series for the new year, he was talking about plowing season, and one of the examples that he gave was how he was like an incredible obsessive fan of Michael Jordan, right? And he was a basketball player. But, he said that you can't be who Michael Jordan is on the court if you're not doing what Michael Jordan does off the court. And so there has to be a plowing. And for those who aren't familiar with that kind of spiritual term, plowing is basically putting in the hard work, putting in the intentionality, the sacrifice, the discipline now, sowing all of those things now so you can reap the success, so you can reap the abundance, so you can reap, the reward of all of that, later. And so we're definitely in a plowing season.
Absolutely. Actually, I think I saw that series because I think that he had hired somebody. He told somebody he wanted to be the best because initially he was not. He was like, and I think Kobe or somebody went to that same person and say, hey, I want to be great.
Come on.
And being great means sacrificing, and especially if people's time is unretrievable and it's a very expensive commodity.
Yes, it is.
So if somebody's taking unrenewable, somebody's spending their time because you want to be the GOAT, you need to be committed to them being committed to you. Ooh. So you can get there. You can't pay them and they're more committed than you are. You gotta want it.
Oh, I've seen that time and time again. Even people who will come up to you and say, Chef Mama, I want to learn. Chef Mama, how do you do? Chef Mama, where do you get? Can you teach me? Can you show me? Can I work with y'all? Can all of these things, right? Until they see what it really takes to pull off what we have and to acquire the clients that we have. And, a lot of people end up falling short. They end up giving up. Or, it's just real life that, things that you want, sometimes you got to count up the cost because it may be too expensive for you.
Honey, what is that saying? You don't know the oil.
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah.
Because they see people coming over to hug us or complimenting us on dishes or seeing us on Instagram and social media because, of course, we're going to do clips so that we can let the customers know, hey, we're your people.
Yes.
But what goes on behind all of that, the blood, sweat equity.
Sweat equity.
Of that, and then not all things that glitter is gold. Because you got to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it takes skin in the game to be able to accomplish that.
And another thing, talking about going to the next level, is you got to humble yourself. And a lot of people don't, especially chefs. I don't know what it is, but the stereotype that is synonymous with chefs is arrogance, right? But there's a scripture that says, if you humble yourself, you will be exalted. If you exalt yourself, you will be humbled.
Wow.
And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than being humbled by life circumstances, by being humbled by God Almighty Himself. When God humbles you, who can exalt you? You know what I'm saying? And so I think even in our growth, there had to come a point in our business journey where we had to humble ourselves and say, hey, this may be good, but it can definitely get better.
Absolutely.
And sometimes with business owners lack accountability and constantly want to blame the customer and the client instead of humbling themselves and saying, how can I excel the customer journey, the customer experience in my business?
Absolutely.
And so there is no next level without taking a humble look.
Self-accountability.
Oh my goodness. And not just self-examination, but even too, as you were saying, hiring that person who can take you to the next level, hearing when they check you. See, some people don't want to be checked.
Not being offended.
Let me tell you, the spirit of offense is directly correlated to the spirit of poverty. Show me someone who is always offended, and I can show you someone who's always broke.
That makes me think about you or somebody said the people complaining the loudest have the cheapest seats or tickets.
Yes, the cheapest seats complain the loudest, right? And so I think that we never, would have gotten even where we are today if we didn't humble ourselves to receive feedback.
And
humble
boy,
ourselves.
Have we received some.
Oh my goodness, and
your flesh wants you to pop off and go off, but I have the wisdom.
Yeah.
To listen, to hear.
Yeah.
And not to respond.
Yeah. Listening to hear instead of listening to respond. Now that'll take you to the next level by itself.
Customer be talking and you be like, I'm about to pull them together. I'm about to gather their life. No.
No.
Because some people who I've had the harshest feedback from to accept, they have stayed on our roster and then shared me with another person that's even more of a great client.
Yes.
And trust us with big tickets in spaces and places.
Yes.
Where a mistake I may have made with them could have cost me their business.
Yeah.
But because I listened, assessed, and gave a remediation of what I would do to take care of it, or a remedy.
Yes.
Or how I can make your experience better.
Yes.
Hey, it's all good. You're not going to be able to do that with everybody. But I have to say this, most clients who have more to lose than not, they're the ones who listen.
Yeah.
The ones that can't afford to lose anything, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because big ticket clients, they be like, okay, cool. Thank you for being transparent.
Ooh.
Let's keep it moving.
But
the ones that nickel and dime me, it's a fight.
They are results driven, not problem driven. And
That's
so
a word. That's a word.
So someone who is, who is really mature in their mindset and their thinking, they want results. They really don't care about how we got here. Right. Yeah. They don't really care how we got here. they want to know, how do we get out of here? You know what I'm saying? How do we correct this issue? How do we make sure we don't come back to this issue?
And if you can speak to that, next level in itself will come.
Yes, yes. Now let me tell y'all something. Chef Mama can teach a mastermind in customer de-escalation, customer retention. Let me tell you, that woman right there, she could do a master class about that. She's really good at it. Because I am not detail oriented, and because I am not the type of person who thrives with really just sitting and listening to people, I get real, because I'm like, okay, you'd already said your frustration 6 times. I've repeated your frustration to you 6 times, and you still want a therapy session more than you want a resolution. That right there grinds my gears.
Business or personal, it grinds your gears.
Oh my goodness. Now I can, but Mom is just, she's A1 at it.
Thank you, baby.
5 stars. 10 out of 10 recommend. But
somebody gotta be.
Yeah.
In every corporation, there is a what do they call it? The CEO's office, where they have intake.
Yeah.
People, and you assign a case number,
Yes.
and they're gonna walk you through a resolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in another life, corporately, I have dealt with big banks.
Yeah.
Escalations, dealing with huge amount of money.
Yes.
Monies. So
you know it's a lot when you go from money to monies.
So sitting in the hot seat, I can thank my corporate job for that. And then secondly, for sure, I can thank growing up in the hood.
Look. Look.
So yeah, and all of that, you know, as you go through a career on your way to your passion, in pursuit of your passion, God allows you to be in these jobs, preparing you to be able to run your own company.
Yeah.
All of that is the road to next level.
It is. It is.
And being a sponge, and I know how to do that. I got my own company. Y'all tripping in? Baby, look at the playbook.
That's not how it works.
Especially if you work for a Fortune 500 company.
Come on here.
Sit down somewhere and learn the stuff.
Look at the playbook.
And when your business allows you to move and shake the spot, do that. Until then, absorb the plans, because there's no use in reinventing the wheel. You just contour and shape it toward what your passion and business is.
Yes. Yes. I think that going to the next level requires you to stop looking at your business as something that you may do or do on the side, and start looking at it as its own entity. And to your point, you know, working for Fortune 500 companies, working for corporate America, the way that they run is not Tommy, you know, CEO Tommy, you know, running this business is something that he does, but looking at the company as a whole as its own separate entity. And so Tom may be the CEO, but, you know, Lighthouse, you know, Incorporated, you know, has its own personality. It has its own vision, mission, message, core values. It has its own culture, you know, that may be different than the way Tom, you know, lives his own life and personal brand. And so I think for us, where the pivot is starting to happen is that A Pinch of Bliss is not just this catering company that we have and we do, but we're creating it to be its own entity, its own person almost.
It is.
You know, and because
it has become
it, and it has to be, because you only can go so far when it's your business instead of the company. That has to be a mindset shift. my business versus the company. That means that I'm operating and I'm moving differently when I'm setting up the pillars for this. And so it's been challenging, rewarding, frustrating, exciting, but you're gonna be stretched when you're building something that's gonna outlive you.
Legacy and lineage.
You know, we're trying to build something that great grandchildren that will never meet, that will never see, get to benefit from and eat the fruit from.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it will challenge you and stretch you to go beyond yourself because it is for a space and time that is beyond yourself.
That's right. You are absolutely right.
You know?
There's no corporation that didn't start from somewhere that's been around, I guess, just saying anything. Procter and Gamble. It's I think a biblical verse that says, "Do not despise small beginning." Everybody has to.
That's good.
Begin somewhere with a seedling.
That's good.
And that seedling has to be what you say. We in the harvest. We in the plowing. So you got to start with the seedling. We look at all these successful people and we envy where they are, but we don't know the backstory. We don't know how many bankruptcies they did before they got to a place called there. And then once they got to a place called there, since you're talking about leveling up, they evolve, they pivot, they move with the cheese, they forecast. And it takes someone who has been through some things, has learned some things,
come on,
and has had mentors, coaches, and even went and humbled himself and worked under somebody who is succeeding in the thing that you're passionate about doing.
That's good.
You know, because some of us think we're too good to sit at the feet of people.
Ooh.
And sit at their feet and just take it in. But I remember when I first started out, even though she's younger than me, every time, once again, saying her name again, every time Chef Lizzie would fly into Atlanta from Texas, or when she would come back from out of the country and come back here, she would call me. And guess what I do? Go sit at the table, her table, with names that me, myself, would have never, at the beginning of my business, been sitting at the table with.
Come on.
I sat there quietly. She said, make sure you take notes.
Come on.
She said, make sure you listen.
Come on.
She knew I was humble. I wasn't trying to talk like I knew anything. I never tried to upstage her. I never brought up we knew each other as childhood classmates. None of that. None of that. And I dare not call myself a chef in her presence. I was a caterer then.
Come on.
You understand me?
Come on.
I knew my place.
Come
and
on.
I played my position until I was able to own a team myself. You understand me?
You preaching now. You teach the people them. Teach the people them.
Chef Lindsay George.
Come on. Come on.
She will pull you together, and it's for your greater good.
Yeah, it is.
Now, if you're too prideful to take her feedback, then you can go find somebody else.
That's right. That's right.
She is not a gatekeeper. She'll give it to you.
That's right.
She will give it to you. But you got to let down these walls of pride in order to take, just like you got to sit at somebody's feet.
Come on.
You know? And then people like Dawn, Bread of Life Catering. She was doing it a long time. She used to do it with her family in Alabama before she came to Atlanta.
That's right.
She would let me go be one of her servers, work in the kitchen with them.
That's good. That's good.
Showing me tricks. She always say, baby, everybody can cook from scratch, so they think. But sometimes, depending on the number you have and the budget and how many people got working, you got to work smarter, not harder.
Come on.
Learn that from her.
That's good.
You know, Chef Derwin, tell me where to go.
Come on.
How to go get it. Chef Jay,
come on.
Open up his commercial kitchen to me.
Come on.
You know, and then you got people like Chef Eric, not a gatekeeper.
Oh, not a gatekeeper. Come on.
Sharing knowledge.
Come on. Not only
and
sharing
put me
knowledge
on to other chefs in the community who are in the lane that we were born in.
Come on. And not only that, but allowing you to take up space
in his
where he could have completely dominated as far as clientele.
Absolutely. Always extending in
That's
and of.
good.
Because they don't need us.
That's good.
At all.
But I think that you're saying something really important here that doesn't need to be flown by. And that is, you are only ready to go to the next level when you were tired of being the most knowledgeable in your circle.
Honey.
When you're tired of being the most gifted, when you're tired of being the most talented, when you're tired of being the subject matter expert in your circle, when you are okay with being the least knowledgeable, when you are okay with being the least experienced, when you are mature enough and okay not to let the people know who you are and what you do so you can get attention and recognition, then and only then you are ready for the next level.
That's right. And it just reminds me of something that your grandmother said when we started out on our culinary degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting my uniform on and putting on my stuff. And she said, "You look nice, baby." She said, "Now, don't you go in that class telling them people how to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to know how long you've been in business and all of that." She said, "You sit there and learn you something.
Come on.
Let them teach."
Come on.
And I'm so glad I did that.
Come on.
Because I had already planned to be like, my name is Bridget Claiborne. I'm the owner of Bliss Venue Styling and Catering. And you know, my first instructor might not have took the time to pour into me.
That's right. Because you already know.
The S on my chest stuck out, and I don't need you to teach me anything. Let's get on with it.
Talk.
Let me get my degree.
Talk.
But my mom's wisdom.
Come on. Come on.
But in seat, mouth closed.
Come on. But see, that'll apply in any area.
It is applicable.
And let me tell you, when you permeate the right spirit, they'll come asking you questions. They'll come asking you who you are.
Baby,
they'll want to know. They will want to know.
Was sending us business while we were getting our degree. Were letting me do demos for the class while we're getting our degree.
Because when you humble yourself, you will be exalted. But when you exalt yourself, you will be humbled.
Girl, that's a timeless, baby, that thing is like Jesus. It's timeless.
That the word of God is fixed, uniform, and universal. So it don't matter whether you believe, whether you profess Jesus. The laws that govern the universe that God has set in place, they work.
People that don't even believe in Jesus use that as a manuscript to life.
Yes, they do. And are successful from it. And I mean, we ain't got to go too deep in it, but it's a shame that, you know, those who don't believe prosper from the laws that God set in place to govern the universe, and the believers are still defeated, depressed, discouraged, downtrodden.
So your flesh, heart, and mind ain't lining up.
We believe in Jesus, but we don't believe the laws that he set in place.
It's lip service if you don't.
But we got people who believe the laws set in place, but don't believe in Jesus.
So what does that tell you?
Oh, we got to put, what do they say? You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
You got to put those words you say into action. But the next level requires a place of discomfort. You know, it requires, you know, you're not saying, oh, I know. Oh, I can't stand people that come to me for wisdom, advice to be put on, for connection. And you talking to them and you trying to impart some wisdom, and all they can say is, oh yeah, I know, because I blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I was thinking, sometimes you need to hush. Just receive. If you know it, what do you gain? What do you gain by telling people who are further in the industry you want to be than you are, telling them that what's the benefit? It's that attention seeking. It's that I am not confident and settled in who I am, you know. And so when we had the pleasure of catering in Scottsdale, Arizona, beautiful property, beautiful people.
The mansion was amazing.
It was extraordinary.
We were in they call it a
pool house.
Casa. I call it a pool house. It's called a casa or something out there, a different name. Honey, that was a pool house, upstairs, downstairs, theater room, kitchenette. I was like, okay now.
No, it was gorgeous.
But that client always put us up very nice. Anyway.
Always. And one thing that really stood out to me is, I forget what day it was and what we were doing, but I had an opportunity. Oh, I think it was the last night. I had the opportunity to sit outside with the hostess of the retreat, while the sun was setting. It was such a beautiful day.
It was the night before the recommitments.
It was the night before.
I believe so.
And so we sat outside for a moment, and it was the hostess and some of her well-connected attendees. And they began to speak. They began to share. And at that moment, I shut up. And I just looked. I listened. I soaked in the moment. Even the things that they were talking about, that they allowed me to still sit there and listen to, I soaked it in. Because when you are in the presence of greatness, there is no need to show them or to tell them. Because if they are as great as you believe they are, they'll see it in you. They'll spot it without you saying a thing, right? And so the next level, it requires just a different way you present yourself.
I think what's amazing, and what happens quite a bit, and I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't want to offend anyone, but we're the help. And we try to be seen and not heard. We're the help. And we're giving you a service, an experience that you paid for. However, no matter where we go and what we're doing, especially in the high value clients,
come on,
they want to pull us in, pour into us as business owners. When people pay them thousands to do that,
that's good.
We're there working, and they're pulling us in, giving it to us.
That's good.
You know, and I think that says a lot about the spirit that we're operating in. Think about it.
Yes.
Who do you know that are millionaires and they have the help? They're doing stuff, doing free ads for you, telling other people that have events out of state about you, and they need to bring us
Not only out of state, out of the country.
out of the country. And yeah, because she's talking about somewhere in Africa. But you really have to give off professionalism, number one.
Yes.
Great customer service.
Yes.
Being seen and not heard, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but moving about your business.
Yes.
And if you got a kingdom business, carrying yourself in such a way where people want to know, I want to know who she serves or what they do, because they seem very awesome.
Mm.
You know, something about you draw them in.
That's good. That's good.
And God always blesses no matter where we go.
Always. Always. I am so humble and grateful for that.
If you just take a moment and just think about what I'm saying, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It really is. And I give all glory to God, because he is the only one that can open doors that no man can shut.
Only him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only him.
That's good. That's good. I think this has been a good conversation for the people.
Absolutely. And just to recap that thing though, next level requires discipline, sacrifice, pivots, soaking up, not being a know-it-all,
Humbling yourself.
scared money don't make money.
Come on.
Because you need someone to help you to get your systems in place. You got to get off of the Canva and stuff you're doing yourself. Put you a budget up to get people to make the stuff, because I know that Brittany's been working with people, because we want stuff that can go into different types of media, not just social media.
That's right.
And, you know, all of that is not a couple of pennies.
No, it ain't.
So if you are really serious about your business, a lot of times you need to get a coach. You need to be somebody's mentee. You need to ask the uncomfortable questions to yourself and or your business partner. How can we be better? How can we make sure we're not eating the seed?
That's good.
How can we make sure we're not crossing the start line before the gun goes off?
That's good. That's good.
Before
That's good.
we're ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, am I stretching myself too thin? Do I need a scheduler? Do I need everything written down or in calendars because I'm a procrastinator? All of those things are items of bullet points for
That's
next
good.
level.
That's good. That's
You know?
good. I just thought of this. This popped up in my head. First time I'm saying it out loud. You cannot fully reach the potential inside of you unless you first connect with the resources outside of you. And so I'm thinking of a seedling, right? You know, a seed. Think of a mustard seed, right? And have you ever seen a mustard tree? Those things are massive compared to the size of its seed. But that mustard seed will always stay a mustard seed until it connects with what? Soil, sun, water, until somebody then comes along after it reaches a certain size and prunes it. You, in order to fully reach the potential inside of you, you must first connect with the resources outside of you.
That's good.
And that's how you get to the next level.
That's good. Because what is the sun to give you your business life? What is the source, the energy source?
Come on. What is the soil? What is the water? Who is called to come and prune you?
Oh, girl. Don't start.
And then when they come and begin pruning, will you take offense? Or will you shrivel up and
die to yourself so the new thing can come up and you can do a new thing, a prosperous thing, a healthy thing? I'm so done.
All right, guys, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We want to have some conversation with us. One, we want to know that you're there. We want to say hello. We want to express our gratitude and love for you even watching. And I got a challenge. If you made it to the end of this video, I want you to type along with your comment, mustard seed.
I knew you were going to say mustard seed.
Let's see who really watches.
Yeah.
All right.
Who just popping in, giving us a like, and who really listening.
Who really listening. Anything you want to say before we go, Mom?
No, baby. I do want you to remember one thing about us. We do flavor over here. Until next time.